Afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our second broadcast today. Nice and here live on the Unify Networks and across the globe for the Global Wellness Challenge. My name is Matt Riemann, and we're here today to facilitate a beautiful mental health conversation, today being all around mindfulness and meditation. So I hope you got a chance to dial in on the session this morning, and if you haven't, I hope you got a chance to follow along with Shay throughout the day to help you be more mindful today and enjoy the experience that we can be having in that space. So I'm just going to walk through a few things this morning briefly here. Hope you can see my screen. So reflections on our day. Hopefully today we've had a chance to dive deep. Just a reminder that mindfulness is just about being present in the moment. There's not much to it. It's not rocket science. It's not this crazy thing you need to experience or get a degree to understand. It's literally just being able to stop and be present. Not worry about what's happening in the past, not worry about happening in the future. Just be present in the exact moment right now. And just to observe and just be aware of yourself in the moment. And that's it, without any judgment, just with acceptance of who you are, what you're experiencing and what you're going through right now. So that's all we're talking about with mindfulness. Just being more mindful during the day has significant health benefits, mental health and physical health benefits. And you can be mindful at any time of the day. So whether you're just waking up, whether you're in the shower, whether you're eating, whether you're cooking, whether you're driving, whatever it is, just about to be mindful in the moment, just be present, drop into you and just connect there. So we're hopeful that you had lots of chances and opportunities to be more mindful today, maybe more than any other days that you have. And just to remember that mindfulness is actually different for everybody. And that's really our message that we're having this whole 10 days is that find out what's right for you, find out who you are first, find out the things that are best for you and just have a go at doing that because you can find how quickly you can come into a space of flow, a space of health and a space of happiness. So a reminder here, if you haven't yet checked out your health type, that's just a scientific validated way of understanding what your body shape and size and your phenotype expression is, which is essentially who you are when you look in the mirror, and how you think when you look in the mirror is what we call your phenotype. And this is how Shay works, is classifies that scientific level of information to understand and match your natural rhythms, your neurotype, your natural biorhythms in your body, to understand how you're going to best respond to certain things, to really bring your biology into matching your psychology and even your spiritual flow while you're on the planet. So Guardians and Diplomats, if you haven't, again, click the top left buttons in your app. If you're here and you're listening to this, by the way, and you're not even sure what we're talking about, please go to unify.org/global wellness challenge and register because you get free access to this entire 10 days while we're here talking about this for a mental health challenge. So please come and do that. So Guardians and Diplomats, if you have got your health type, from this top left navigation, deep breathing with a slow release. So as slow as you can on the way out, just a nice long slow exhale is the best breathing to help you be more mindful if you're a guardian or a diplomat. If you're a crusader or a sensor, alternate nostril breathing. So breathing in through the left, so block the right, and out through the right, blocking the left. And then in through the right and out through the left. And again, these are scientifically proven techniques to help you best in a personalized way. Activators and connectors, belly breathing. So breathing right down through the bottom of your belly. So not up in the chest, not like this, but more through here, down through the belly as you breathe in and out. So as you breathe in, the stomach should expand out. And as you breathe out, the stomach should expand back in, retract back in, I should say. So that's the breathing that we're going to encourage you to try. If you haven't yet already today, now's a perfect time to try it, even while we're talking right now. Have a go at this breathing and have it going, just dropping into the exact moment right now, not worrying about the future, not worrying about the past that's been, just being right here in this moment right now with us. And so just to reflect on today, have you had a chance? We set a few goals at the start of today. Have you had a few chances, to be more mindful today? So mindfulness in a moment, were you able to do 1 minute of that breathing personalized to you? And if not, can you do this now? Or if not, can you do this later tonight? So again, today is our day that we can really focus on our mindfulness, and what a great way to do that. So if you do, and when you do able to do that, how does that mindful moment influence your energy levels and your mental clarity? And you'll find that when you do that, you'll actually shift quite significantly the state of consciousness that you're in. And again, the HRV, heart rate variability, and that connection with that resonant frequency that you have. So lots of other amazing organizations like HeartMath, etc., call this being more coherent. And it's beautiful to match up with brain, with body, with mind, and with soul as well. So Please take some moments to do this, and hopefully you have, if you're reflecting on today and how you've been with your mindfulness today. How did you go also with your mind in time? So how your mental energy and function changed throughout the day. So were you able to observe yourself and be aware of yourself, how your mind changed throughout the day? Maybe you had moments where you're a bit upset about something. Maybe you had moments where you're really calm and peaceful. Maybe you were completely zen the entire day. Whatever your day has been, how have you been observing that and being more mindful of who you are in that time? And also, what have you noticed about the time of day, the fluctuations? Are you more relaxed and chilled in the morning, but as the day goes on, you tend to get a bit more stressed? Or are you more stressed in the morning because you feel rushed, but as the day goes on and you get settled, you feel a bit more relaxed? So taking notice of your daily rhythms already is just a huge win. Just being more aware of yourself is a massive win for today. So what have you noticed about that, and how can you do that? And again, inside a show will give you the tips on that to naturally be in your flow and in your rhythm. So how your brain filters the environment around you as well. So what statements really resonate with you? Inside of the app we talked about, jumping in there. I'll take you through a slide again in case you missed that. But what statements resonate with you for the long-term mindfulness? Some really powerful insights in there for your mind, for your place, for your genius, for social aspects of your life, and what really resonates with you there that you can do something about right now. So being more mindful and is certainly a developing gift. Every day mindfulness will come up for you. We have the daily challenge of life that comes our way every single day. As we talked about yesterday, stress is an important part of our lives. It's what helps us function. It's natural, it's healthy. It's only the prolonged stress that isn't good, or too much increase in stress that's not so great for us. But being mindful of that and how we navigate our stress, how we become more resilient, is really what we're all about here. So just asking yourself, hopefully you become more aware of yourself today, even listening to these conversations, going through the meditations, follow along with the sessions. We've got an amazing speaker coming out very soon, Laura Isles, who's going to share us a lot more of a deep dive around mindfulness and meditation. But what choices did you make today based on the new information that you had? What actions did you take to enhance your mindfulness? How did it make you feel? What did you notice? And what can you do to refine it either the rest of today or tomorrow? So these are some questions we're just going to pose for you to reflect on, or to be more mindful about as you experience your mindfulness journey. So just some extra tips again here, in case you missed it this morning. Personalizing mindfulness. It's a new concept. Everybody talks about mindfulness and just being more mindful and meditating and doing these sorts of things. We now know with all the science and research that doesn't work for everybody, that actually specific things do work for specific people and other things don't work for people. In fact, meditations can make people more stressed and more anxious, with their mind jumping around when they're trying to be quiet, when the best way for them to meditate is actually to go for a walk in nature. So we're really understanding how different mindfulness is for each person, just like we're understanding how different foods are for each person. It's not about the tomato that's full of antioxidants or lycopenes that's good for you. It's actually about how does that tomato specifically work with my unique body compared to somebody else's. It's the same for mindfulness. How does this specific meditation or technique or tool that's there work for me specifically and my specific mind and neurotype compared to somebody else? So personalized mindfulness is one of the newer conversations around town, and it's very, very interesting. It's completely going to be the future of what we all do, because not everything works for everybody. So use this time to find out what works for you, whatever it is for you. Shay's a great starting point for that, to give you that information, and you can take that and do whatever you like with it. But you'll find out and be more aware today of what really works for you and who you are and how you made up. So if you're a crusader or a sensor, click on the mind section. We encourage you to say and to look at what's played out in the last 48 hours for you that's either caused a feeling of stress or success. So what is it that's there for you? If you're a diplomat, check out this place section that's there, and what element of that has played a role in the levels of stress and comfort for you over the last 24 to 48 hours. So this is, again, your environment is so powerful, indoor and outdoor environments for diplomats. For activators, connectors, and guardians, click on the social tab. So this is, again, we're inviting you to check out surprise insights. So what Shay knows that others wouldn't. You'll be very, very surprised and blown away at how accurate Shay knows you, and Shay knows how you think and how you behave and who to hang out with. That's going to cause different responses for you. So go check out these insights. What does Shay know that you wouldn't know and others wouldn't know even about yourself? And what stands out for you socially in that aspect that you can take advantage of and take some action on? So this is, again, just some tips for the health types. If you're here, activators, be around people who like change and variety. Get things off your chest as quickly and safely as you can when they come up. Diplomats, have an easy morning, have a calm morning, take some time in nature. Crusaders, make sure you've got a priority list, make sure you've got clear outcomes for the day, and don't forget to have some movement and food breaks, because otherwise you will. Guardians, spend some time by yourself today, if you can, with low maintenance people, so that it can be about you, not about others, because you're always so giving. Senses, take some time to really calm your senses and your sensitive nervous system completely. Try and get 20 minutes of warmth and quiet tonight if you can. Be somewhere warm, be somewhere quiet and still. That'll be so rejuvenating for your body and your mind and your soul. And if you're connectors, please try and get social. Try and express to someone who truly cares and doesn't judge, so you can feel safe and supported just to be you and to share what you want to share. So these are just some tips to be more mindful, more in the moment, more in your flow state as you go throughout today and the rest of your today and tonight, as we're being more mindful here on this journey. So tomorrow, just a quick reminder, we'll be going through lifestyle priorities. And this is understanding all about the differences here in our lifestyle priorities that actually impact the expression of our genes. This is why that we've got lots of different genes in our body. We're looking to see which ones are switched on or off at any particular point in time. And we're looking at which different foods actually impact that, which different social circumstances impact that, which environments impact that meaning our genes being switched on or off, what sort of ways that we move our body change our gene expression, what sort of things we do with our time and our mind, how does that impact our gene expression, how does sleep impact it, and how do we perceive the world in terms of how we impact our gene expression, which ultimately dictates our health and our wellness in any given moment. And so this is what we're exploring tomorrow with lifestyle priorities. So I really invite you to dial in for that. It's going to be a really great day. Again, 9 a.m. Pacific time for a broadcast in the morning, and 3:30 Pacific time broadcast in the afternoon, where we'll get to go through all these conversations. So thank you for being here, just reconnecting in, just dropping in as a refresher for our mindfulness journey and our goals for today. I hope you've been able to be more mindful and be following along with that conversation today of mindfulness as we go here. And we really invite you just to go as deep as you possibly can with all these conversations. So without any further ado, I'm just going to invite Anne Larson to come to the stage again. So Anne's been here guiding us with mindfulness the whole entire journey, and we're very grateful for you being here. We've had incredible feedback from your sessions. So I'm just going to dive in now and invite Anne to lead us into a meditation, to be able to drop in to mindfulness and be more mindful right in this moment. If you haven't had a chance yet today, now's the perfect time to do that. And Anne, thank you so much for leading us through. I'll hand over to you now.
Welcome to meditation and mindfulness. We're going to take...
Oops, I'll try and hand over to you now, Anne. Sorry, for some reason this is not working. Let me just try that one more time. Thanks for your patience, everybody. I'll try our screen share here again. All right, let me know if we can get some things happening this end. Thanks for the feedback, everybody. And hopefully we're live this time. We'll try one more time. Are we ready?
A small journey into mindfulness and what it might mean for you to be living a mindful life. Meditation is a practice. It's a practice of focused attention, and that can look very different for different people. Mindfulness also has practices that help us get to having a more mindful life, but it's really about a way of being in the world. So we're just going to begin with a simple mindful exercise of progressive relaxation. And from there, we're going to start setting an intention, a vision for what a mindful life might look like for you and how you might include meditation in it. And that can look very different if you can for different people. If you're going about your daily tasks, a vision, please keep your focus where it needs to be, but you can listen to my voice as you do that. We're going to start with the breath. The breath is often used as a meditative practice and also as a mindful practice. Every time we take our attention to our breath, we are having an internal focus. We are bringing ourselves into the current moment, and we'll talk about how we do that without judgment. So right now, if you can, close your eyes. Push your feet into the floor. Let yourself know you are here and now in the current moment. And then just take your attention to your breath. There's many different breathing meditations that you can do, but for our purposes now, just keep your attention on your breath without any change, any struggle. Just allow your breath to flow naturally. If you can, breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, or in through your nose and out through your nose, whichever one works best for you. As you're breathing in through your nose, notice the air. Notice that small breeze that is generated as you breathe in. Notice what that air feels like as it's entering into your nostrils, as it's entering into your lungs. And if you've taken a deep breath, you may feel that right down into your belly. Just notice that. Notice what it's like on the out breath. Is your breath soft and you can feel that as it travels past your upper lip? Do you have the sensation that you need to breathe out through your mouth? What else is happening with your breath? You may notice as you go along that your breath becomes a little bit more soft. Your out breath may be a little bit longer. Whatever is happening for you right now is perfect. A lovely way to help us keep our attention focused in the moment is a progressive muscle relaxation. This can take as short as 3 minutes, or you could do it for 10 or 20 minutes, depending on the time you have allotted for this practice. I'm going to do a shorter one so that we can talk about mindfulness as a way of life and we can create that vision. So if we just begin with your feet, just clench your toes so that you're creating tension in your foot. And then on your next out breath, release. Notice your feet now falling into the floor. And now take your attention up to your calf muscles and tense those calf muscles. Take a breath in, and on the out breath, release that tension. Now take your attention up to your thighs, remembering all the time you're just softly breathing. And then when you want to, when you're ready, on the next in-breath, clench those large muscles in your thighs. And then when you're ready on the out-breath, just release that tension. When you now have your attention on your legs down to your feet, you may start to notice something. Perhaps they feel a little bit lighter. Perhaps they feel heavier. Perhaps one leg feels differently from the other. That doesn't matter. Now take your attention up to your stomach area, your belly, and just clench that area. And on the next out breath, release. Then we're going to clench our fists. If you have your fists sitting in your lap or down beside you, going to clench those. That may even create some tension all the way up to your shoulders. Take another in-breath, and when you're ready, breathe out and release that tension so that your hands are softly sitting on your lap or down by your sides. Now we're going to create some tension in your shoulders, and you can do this simply by lifting your shoulders up so that they're closer to your ears. And then when you're ready, on your next out breath, just release that tension. You may notice that something lovely happened then, and your shoulders are sitting a little bit more lower than they were before. If you're noticing that, you could do another one of those right now. Or you know what's lovely? You can do that any time in the day. It's a beautiful mindful practice. If you feel like you've got that tension building, you can create that tension, increase the tension. Then on the out breath, relax. Now we're going to take your attention up into your face and start with just pushing your tongue into the roof of your mouth to create tension. And on the next out breath, relax. Then you can create tension around your forehead by frowning. And when you're ready, breathe in and then out and relax those muscles on the out breath. At this point, it's a lovely practice to pay attention to what's happening over your whole body now. And we can just do a quick body scan from the top of your head down to your feet, where you just notice what is happening in your body now. Is there tension? If there is, if you notice tension in one particular place, you can clench that again and release. Or you can now just take 3 calming breaths. And now, from this place of awareness, you're going to create a vision of what a mindful life looks like for you. Remembering that mindfulness is a way of being where we are living in the current moment, we're being present in the here and now, and we do so without judgment. We are simply in this moment. So what would you like to include in this mindful life? Now is the time to start building that vision. Would you like to include a meditation practice in that? And if you do want to include a meditation practice, how long would that be? How often would that be for you? Do you like to be in complete silence, or do you love to meditate within a group of other people? This will vary for everyone. What meditation practice really works the best for you? Because it's also a mindfulness practice, because we are bringing our attention to this moment. Are you the sort of person who really feels like they're in flow when they're moving? Well then, when you wake up in the morning, perhaps you want to be taking your attention to what we might think of as a mindfulness walking. This is if you may actually decide to go for a walk and you want to practice mindful walking. But it also could be, I'm just bringing mindfulness from when I get out of bed and walk to the bathroom or the kitchen. How do you want to start that day? You open your eyes. How do you set yourself so that you are in the here and now? If you want to do a walking meditation, then you know that involves being in that present moment, noticing what's happening, noticing all those physical sensations as you walk. Or perhaps when you want to bring in some meditative practice, you're the sort of person who likes to see things. Now, of course, we can use this as a meditative practice as we sit in a space and we look at some beautiful picture, or something that is devotional, if that's what is important to you. It could be that you look at nature. It could be that this is part of your mindful life, that when you go out into nature, you actually spend time, whether you're sitting or standing or walking, really paying attention to the visual aspect of nature. You may be the sort of person who really just being amongst nature really helps you be present, that you feel grounded and you can do a grounding meditation, or just be mindful in the moment of what that feels like as your feet are pushing into the earth. And of course, you can enjoy all of these. They are all part of living a mindful life. And then just enjoy what that feels like as you breathe in the air of nature. If you're in a forest, notice the feel of the trees around you, or if there's any water running in there, and immerse yourself in that nature experience. Or if you're doing it as a meditative practice at home, you might be having some plants around you, or have a infuser near you where you can just be having some lovely fragrance, and you're looking at the nature that you've brought into your home. All of those work. What about if you're the sort of person that enjoys hearing? Then what do you want to listen to? What music do you want to listen to? I personally love listening to kirtans, devotional callback singing, and that very easily shifts me into a mindful space. And that extra stimulation of the sound helps me stay in that focused attention. You may be the sort of person that really just loves silence, or whilst you love silence, you're very sensitive, so you may want to put on some sort of frequency, some sound, some brown or pink noise, so that you can keep the focus on that without having other noises distracting you. Or you may be the sort of person who spends a lot of time planning for the future, envisaging the future. So for you, a wonderful mindful practice will be just to draw your attention back to whatever it is that you're doing in the moment. Whatever activity, you keep your attention on that activity. And we can all benefit from this if we're increasing mindfulness in our life. How do you bring your attention to whatever it is that you are doing? Whether you are doing the washing, whether you are eating some lovely meal, these are all ways to practice this mindful life. And then start to notice, what does that feel like? I'm being in the moment. Notice what thoughts come up for you, because it will often be your thoughts that will carry you out of the present moment, and they'll do that by creating judgment. So finally, I want you to see those thoughts simply as leaves floating down a stream. You can see yourself putting those thoughts on those leaves if you want to, or it may be clouds floating across the sky. We're not resisting them. We're not disliking them. We're not loving them. We're just being with them. We are simply taking our attention to them, but then allowing them to dissipate. So now that you've created an idea about how you might start going about this mindful life, just feel how wonderful that could feel. There's so many benefits to mindfulness. And as you do that, I want you to come back to the here and now. Push your feet back up into the floor. And now take 3 deep breaths. And as you're breathing, notice what's happening around you, that you can hear certain sounds. You're taking your focus from internal out to the external. And now, as you start to open your eyes, again, bring this vision and intention of a mindful life into your day.
Thank you so much, Anne. What a beautiful way just to drop in our mindful moments right now. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for following along with these incredible sessions that we have. Amazing experts from all over the world that are dialing in just for the benefit of everybody who is here. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're going to switch gears now from a beautiful mindful moment there with Anne into our next speaker session. And we have an amazing psychologist with us right now, who I personally know and speak very, very highly of. In fact, you'll see her inside of the app. We have Laura here speaking to us about mindfulness and meditation. So Laura Isles is a psychologist who is passionate about supporting people and organizations to achieve their potential. She's got over 2 decades of experience in creating positive solutions for people and organizations across Australia and New Zealand. Laura's successful track record in organizational consultancy, clinical interventions, and stakeholder management has equipped her to adapt and lead through uncertainty, manage ambiguity, and to solve complex problems. Laura has a passion for facilitation, for learning, for presenting. She's trained in many therapeutic methods, allowing her to tailor her process. She has particular interest in occupational challenges, which is around stress and burnout and adjustment, and performance enhancement around executive coaching, leadership, team dynamics, employee engagement, and resilience. So without any further ado, I'm going to welcome Laura to the stage. Laura, thank you so much for being here today to lead us through a conversation around mindfulness and meditation.
Thank you, Matt. And hello, everybody. It's an absolute privilege to be here. My name is Laura. I'm a psychologist. I'm based here in Brisbane, Australia. And I'm really excited to be part of this amazing lineup and sharing some of my thoughts with you during the Peace of Mind Unify Summit and in this challenge. What a great opportunity for you to spend some time picking up some tips and challenges and techniques for you to improve your own mental health. So this session today is all about the secret antidote to a racing mind. So whether that's racing because you've got anxious thoughts or depressive thoughts or angry thoughts, the antidote is always with you. It's always available. We just have to know how to tap into it. So what am I talking about, you might ask? I'm talking about mindfulness. So mindfulness is the quality of being present and being fully engaged with whatever we're doing at the moment, free from distraction or judgment. And it also means being aware of our thoughts and our feelings without getting caught up in them. Homo sapiens sapien literally translates from Latin to the species that knows and knows that it knows. So there's something about mindfulness that's absolutely core to our humanity, that final common pathway of what makes us human. Neuroscience actually shows us that mindfulness changes 2 parts of the brain that help us to be less reactive to stresses by increasing those connections between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, and to recover better from stress when we experience. So 2 months of doing meditation or mindfulness is enough to actually rewire your brain in ways that encourages greater emotional control, thoughtful decision-making, and superior focus. So what actually happens in that 2 months is that the cortical thickness, that grey matter concentration of the hippocampus, increases. That's that part of your brain that's responsible for memory and regulating emotions. And the more you dedicate to that mindfulness practice, the stronger those effects take hold. It's not just about the brain as well. Research has consistently shown that engaging in mindfulness can help relieve stress, treat heart disease, lower your blood pressure, reduce chronic pain, improve your sleep, and alleviate gastrointestinal difficulties. So we know that both work and home can end up being very fast-paced and stressful environments. But those individuals that are flexible and have that ability to remain focused can experience less of that racing mind and have the ability to think in a more balanced and healthy way. Day to day, I know we all find this, but our minds have this tendency to kind of wander off, and we might get lost in thought or worry. And as a result, we're not really present in the moment. So think about whether you've ever done any of these things. Have you ever been driving in your car and then kind of looked up and wondered how you got somewhere so quickly, almost like the car had driven itself? Or have you found yourself thinking about your to-do list while you're in the middle of that other conversation with somebody? Or something that I do sometimes when I get to the end of that page and I realize that I've read something and I have no idea what I've just read. So that's kind of being on autopilot, which, as I said, everyone experiences that from time to time. Mindfulness is the opposite to that. So it's being able to listen closely to what someone's saying in their conversation with you, or being aware of all of the sounds and sights and smells in your environment and really taking that in. Or it might be just being able to absorb what you're actually reading instead of rereading it again and again. So I'd like you to think of mindfulness as present focused consciousness. We'll take a moment to practice being mindful through describing. So have a look around you, look at something that you can see, pick that object and label it in your mind. Is it a hat? Is it a stapler? And then think about it in a little bit more detail. How large is it? What shape is it? How heavy is it? What texture is it? What colors does it have? As children, we learn language to help us make sense of the world. And the first thing we do is focus on labels like dog or cat, or the one I hear on repeat from my 3-year-old, mum, 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 or my 5-year-old, hungry, hungry, hungry. So labels are a quick way to describe an object, but they don't go into any of those details. And the describing part of mindfulness is to focus on those fine details of an object or that experience or that situation that you're in. So by looking at things in more detail, you're really engaging in that present moment and you get to see things as they really are. So you can see from that exercise of just picking an object that being mindful creates that shift away from being on autopilot, where maybe on an ordinary day, you'd simply see an object, not really take it in and move past it, to instead engaging with your environment in a more meaningful, considered and mindful way that engages all of your senses. So that's essentially what being mindful is all about. Today, I'm going to talk you through some really great mindfulness strategies. And as we go through them, I want you to consider which one do you think would suit you best. Your perspectives, your context, your perceptions, your meaning, the beliefs that you have are going to change how you approach mindfulness. Everyone is different. And when you learn a little bit more about yourself, you start to create this toolkit that's completely personal and it's bespoke to you. So one simple way to practice mindfulness is through PMR. I used to work with chronic pain patients. And I remember one patient, his name was Michael. And Michael had lost part of his leg after he had a motorbike accident and he had to have a below knee amputation. And the pain that Michael felt was often not in his leg, it was instead this referred pain that went up into his lower back. And Michael came into the hospital to go through this chronic pain management program. And I was there to help teach him ways of managing his mood and his thoughts, but also to help him with his sleep and pacing and ability to relax. So in this group that Michael was in, he was the vocal, the rowdy, the argumentative one that loved a good debate. And we were getting to the end of this second week and I felt like I wasn't getting through to him. No matter what the topic was, he seemed to have the same approach. And he'd say, nope, none of this is going to work for me. I don't even have both my legs. So when I started the group session on relaxation, in typical Michael style, he said, Laura, I can't relax. Every time I try, I can't get comfortable. And all I can think about is my pain. And plus, isn't the only way to relax just sitting on the couch and watching television? So then when the group started listing off all the other things that they do to relax, someone said PMR and that they do that. And everyone shot each other these quizzical looks going, what on earth is PMR? And I took that as a great opportunity to do one with the group. So PMR is progressive muscular relaxation. And it's this form of mindfulness that helps you focus on yourself by getting you to tense and relax your muscles as you mentally scan over your body. It's a really great way to focus your attention and be present, which is at that heart of good mindfulness practice. So one of the ways that you can do this is scanning your body, often starting at your toes. So we can give this a go now, and you can do this on your own anytime in this short 30-second scan or up to 20 minutes, depending on how long you want to practice for. So find a comfortable position If you're sitting and listening, or if you're lying down, start by taking a couple of deep breaths. And then allow your breathing to just return to its normal pace. Move your attention away from your breath and start to focus on your feet. What sensations do you notice? Can you feel any pressure from your socks or your shoes? As you do that, wiggle your toes and notice what that feels like. Now scrunch your toes up and hold them scrunched really tight. Hold it and release. Next, bring your attention up to your calves, your knees, your thighs. What do you feel in this part of your body? Do you notice any stiffness, or are your legs quite relaxed? As you're feeling those sensations, notice how they come and they go on their own. No sensation or feeling is permanent. So squeeze those leg muscles down into the floor or into the chair. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Hold it and release. Bring your attention up to your pelvis, your hips, your back. Again, what sensations are present in that part of your body? Can you feel any pressure points where your body is touching the seat or laying down? What temperature do these areas feel like? Are they hot? Are they cold? Are there some parts of your pelvis or your hips or your back that are warmer than others? Squeeze the muscles all around your pelvis and your lower back. Hold, squeeze, and release. Tune into your stomach, your abdominal muscles, and your chest. And as you're breathing in and out, can you notice your stomach churning a little bit? As you're breathing in and out, is that smooth and consistent? Or can you notice these little bumps or changes in the pace of your breathing? Or can you feel your heartbeat? So tense your stomach and crunch your chest muscles together. Tense, tense, tense. And release. Next, focus on your arms and your hands. Again, what sensations are you feeling there? As you wiggle your fingertips, what are you noticing? Clench your arms, make a fist with your hands, hold it tight, and release. Now bring your attention up here to your shoulders and your neck. Is there any tension there? This is a place we hold a lot of stress. If you notice any tension, try and describe that in your mind. What shape is that? How big is it? How hard is that sensation? Squeeze your shoulders up towards your ears, hold, tense, and release. Next, focus your attention on your head and your face. What are you noticing there? How are you holding your face? Is it scrunched up or is it relaxed? Is your jaw tight or relaxed? Again, we hold a lot of tension in through our jaw. Scrunch your face as tightly as you can, and then release. Finally, just try to expand that awareness to your entire body. As you're breathing in, imagine that air flowing all the way down to your feet and all the way out again. As you exhale, notice that that air is moving from the deepest part of your body out into the atmosphere. Sometimes when people breathe in, they like to imagine the air as a calming color that comes in and moves around any bodily sensations you're feeling. So keep that calm breathing going and bring yourself back into the session. For those of you that were following along and gave that a go, try to notice how your body feels. Being mindful to that experience. Are you feeling more relaxed? Have you noticed any tension easing in your body? Has it slowed your breathing or your heart rate at all? That exercise has been shown to be effective in reducing stress, in anxiety. It makes it a great thing to do, particularly in stressful times. And lots of research has also shown that it has those physical benefits as well. So reduction in blood pressure and lowering of the heart rate. So now when we did that activity with the pain management group, we did it for about 20 minutes. So you can see we went through that quite quickly, but you could slow that right down. So the whole group scanning their bodies, toes to the tops of their heads, squeezing all of the muscles and then releasing. Now, when we finished that exercise, Michael didn't say a word. He didn't speak at all, which was unusual for him. Then he waited for everyone to leave and he stayed sitting in his chair. And I went up to him and I was half expecting some kind of cheeky remark. And I saw that he'd started crying. And I asked him what was wrong. And he looked at me and he said, Laura, I've not had a moment away from my pain in 7 years. and I actually relaxed. By the time I got to my shoulders, I was totally focused on my shoulders, and my pain was not even what I was thinking about. And it was a really profound moment for both of us. For Michael to have experienced some relief through mindfulness, and for me to see someone who found a technique that really worked for him, it completely changed his experience of his pain. A different kind of technique, so instead of the PMR, it's called grounding. And it's one that brings you back to the present moment. It allows you to connect with what's happening in the here and now. So again, during stress or worry or sadness or anxiety, our minds get caught up in ruminating about the past or worrying about the future. So grounding can be used to help bring your attention back to the present moment. And these techniques often use the 5 senses, so sound, touch, smell, taste, and sight, to immediately connect you with the here and now. One simple technique that I use with clients for grounding starts with some breathing, and then getting them to notice 5 things that they can see. Again, look around, see if there's anything that you can see. 4 things that you can touch. What can you feel around you? What does that sensation feel like? 3 things that you can hear. Listen now, what is it that you can hear? 2 things that you can smell. And 1 thing that you can taste. It's really difficult to think about anything other than the present moment when you're doing that exercise. And once you're grounded, you're more aware, you're more focused, you're more effective. So the people that I've worked with who undertake that regular grounding exercise tell me that they're more relaxed. They say they're sleeping better. And for some of them, they manage their pain better. Particularly for anxious people as well, they report that that grounding helps them to manage those unhelpful or intrusive thoughts. So a key part of mindfulness is fully engaging in your world, thinking back to what it feels like to run in autopilot mode. To be fully engaged when you're doing something like being grounded is the opposite, because you're focusing all of your attention on what's happening now and concentrating on it. Our minds are these amazing problem-solving machines, and our unique ability to find solutions to problems is what's allowed us to evolve. That natural tendency of our minds is to go into thinking mode. So that active thinking takes you away from what's going on in the present moment, because we're focusing on analyzing what the future outcome might be. In mindfulness, we want to aim for a sensing mode, not a thinking mode, where you're simply focusing your attention on observing any thoughts, any emotions, any bodily sensations you have, rather than reacting or engaging with them. And this can be tough if you're someone that likes to solve problems really quickly and then move on to the next thing. So try this observing technique. Shut your eyes for a second and just focus on your body. Imagine you heard the person next to you say that their child just has been told that they've got head lice. As you focus on your body, you might notice that your body is starting to itch and how automatically you get that urge to scratch it. Try to just observe that thought and focus on anything else you can feel in your body. It can be so tough not to scratch that itch and just observe that sensation. So in the same way that we use labels like itchy to help us navigate our world, we also use these judgments to help us make decisions. Our minds are quick to label situations or emotions as being good, bad, right, wrong, and anything that we judge as being bad, we try to avoid or change or get rid of. So for some emotions, when we try to avoid or change them, what we experience only causes us more emotional distress. Mindfulness is about taking an accepting stance towards your emotions. Rather than judging them or trying to change them, you're accepting them for what they are and trying to navigate through them. So think about something that causes you stress, a task, might be at home, it might be at work. What if instead you chose to accept the situation as it is and experience the difficult emotions fully and do the task anyway? So mindfulness is this skill, and it takes time to develop it. It's challenging and it needs that effort and that practice. One of the main ways that we haven't spoken about to practice mindfulness is meditation. Now, if you type meditation into your app store or your Play Store, which I did just before this session, it comes up with more than 2,500 different apps. So there are no shortage of technological meditation solutions to try. Meditation is this type of mind-body exercise that really helps you focus your attention and relax. And by doing it regularly, you can build up your ability to control your attention and focus on that present moment. So the basic principle of meditation is to practice focusing on one thing, like your body or your breathing or sounds. It's been proposed by Matt Rosano, who's a leading US psychologist, that meditating made us human. So these early practices of shamanism, of staring at fires, mesmerized, of chants and ritual practices and gatherings that they repeated nightly for generations over thousands of years, created these underlying patterns and symbolism. So that's early meditation in action. Now, mindfulness and meditation are not interchangeable. We know that mindfulness, as we've gone through today, involves being present in the very moment and being aware without judgment of our inner thoughts and surroundings. Meditation is a tool to assist with that state. So it's a tool to enhance the attainment of mindfulness. You can do meditation simply through breathing. So the aim of a breathing meditation is focusing on your breath and noticing as you're doing that your mind's wandering and getting distracted by thoughts. They could be worries about what you need to do later or stories about the past. But again, the aim of meditation is practice your ability to notice that when you're caught out by your thinking and return your attention to your breath. Deep breathing, which is really initiated from the diaphragm, decreases that tension and increases that calm. So those repeated slow breaths trigger your brain to release endorphins into the bloodstream, which ultimately lead you to feeling more relaxed. Instead of doing a breathing meditation, you could try a sound meditation where you practice noticing sounds without labeling or judging them. And as you do that, again, you might notice your mind begins to wander and get distracted by thought. Every time you notice your distraction, come back and focus on the sound. So different people are going to find different things meditative. And different people will find it easier to be mindful doing various things. Some people are going to calm down when they're surrounded by people and having lots of connection. But for other people, being around others will have that opposite effect. They might get wound up because they're constantly monitoring their environment and they're worried about what others think. For some people, you might find that the easiest way to meditate is actually through moving their body in a rhythmical way, whereas others want to feel really still. So have a think about yourself and your individual preferences, because when you're engaging in meditation, it's got to be this personal approach. A client came in once and said, in her very usual fast-paced manner, "Laura, I was talking to my friends the other day and they were saying that I should try meditation because it's got such great benefits. I don't really know what the benefits are, but I'd really like to feel less busy and less rushed." So I Googled meditation, and in fact, she'd actually just Googled meditation and clicked on the images and saw pictures of cross-legged people with speech bubbles saying, and then she goes, "So I downloaded a meditation app and I sat quietly and I found the whole thing very uncomfortable, very unnatural, and I felt really vulnerable. What other ways can I do to give this meditation thing a go?" And so having worked with Alice for a while, I knew that we had to approach meditation differently. She always had so much going on at one time, so we had to work in line with her brain. And for Alice, the form of meditation that worked was this visualization meditation. It was Alice visualizing one of her favorite activities, which was dancing. So it was her thinking about the movement, the people, the dance, the light, the surroundings, and every single part of her attention was devoted to that variety as we got her stimulating her visual cortex. And she was completely immersed in the meditation, which allowed her to detach. So adjusting the way she meditated gave her a tool that she could use whenever she started to feel like she had too much on her plate. So consider what works for you and what you know about yourself and your thinking style, and adapt the tools to suit you. A completely different client came in once. His name was Steve. And Steve came in wanting to access psychological support because he was exhausted from his anxiety. It would keep him awake at night, and no matter what he did, he just couldn't seem to shake that worry about the future. So at the same time as working on his thinking patterns, we introduced him to meditation. Now, he said to me that he'd tried it before and that he found it really distracting. He'd been trying one of the guided meditations, and he said that the voice of the person doing it sounded loud and noisy and felt like it was intrusive. So imagine how Steve would have gone if we did the visualization form like Alice. He would have been completely overwhelmed. So for Steve, we shifted the form of meditation. So the goal of his practice was zero sensory registration. And we had to build into that slowly because he inherently perceived his surroundings as a risk. So even closing his eyes for periods of time was something we had to work towards. But when we got to that point of Steve being absorbed in a total lack of sensory registration, he felt a sense of strength and wholeness, like he was escaping reality. So whether you are like Steve or Alice, or even like Michael, you have to find the strategies that work for you. Paying attention to what works for you and adding it to your toolkit so that you have the antidote at the ready when your brain starts racing. That's the end of my session today. Thank you all so much for tuning in today and enjoying the session. I hope you get a lot out of the rest of the sessions throughout the summit.
Thank you so much, Laura. What a beautiful session, powerful information that's in there. And I love the way that you just integrate stories in to make it really real and meaningful of us. So thank you so much for sharing your genius and your gifts with us. And I'm excited that some people can see you inside of the app as well as they go throughout their days. And what a beautiful day to be mindful. So thank you again, Laura. Really appreciate your support and the support of everything happening around. Enjoy the day. So we're going to switch gears now and move on from our incredible mindfulness and meditative space, thanks to Laura. We're actually going to now move our body. So we've got a lot of input so far for our mind. We've heard lots this morning already about mindfulness, meditations, and all these other great things. So right now we're going to take the opportunity to actually dive into moving our body and using our body to be more mindful. And this session from G is an incredible session that's going to really help us to dive deeper into that space. And diving deep into that space is a really, really powerful way that we can connect with our body and with our mind. And you'll start to see, like in the session here, how your body is connected with your mind and how your mind and your breathing is really connected with your body. So G is a movement therapist. He's based on the Gold Coast in Australia. He's got a holistic and integrative approach to health and helps his clients move away from pain and regain control of their bodies. So today is all around breath mobility. So it's a simple way to downregulate your stress by implementing diaphragm breathing with floor-based mobility flow. So a very interesting session. I'm really excited to dive into it. So G, thank you so much for being here, and we're going to get to hand over to you to get started now. And we really invite everyone to be a part of this. Wherever you are, please try this. Today's all about just being more mindful, being in the moment, being aware. And this session is such a beautiful, powerful way to really dive into that and connecting your body. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy the session.
My name is Guillaume, or G. I am a movement therapist, personal trainer, and founder of Peak Movement on the Gold Coast in Australia. In this mindfulness and meditation session, I invite you to learn how to integrate breathing with flow-based movements in order to regulate and downgrade our stress. I will teach you 3 simple breathing techniques and a mobility flow that you can do anywhere and anytime. Let's remember that the body doesn't differentiate good and bad stress. It means that a lack of sleep, a work deadline, or a workout are all perceived as stressful for the body. It's called cumulative stress. So every now and then, we need to remind ourselves to pause, recenter, and take a deep breath. Belly breathing is very efficient at activating our diaphragm. This is important because the diaphragm is intricately connected to a main hip flexor called the psoas muscle, and both are impacted by stress and trauma.
For those individuals
and
that
can
are
cause
flexible
many
and
aches,
have that ability to
including back
remain
pain.
focused,
So
can
first,
experience
let's
less
see
of
if we
that
can
racing
activate
mind
our diaphragm
and have the ability
by
to
rubbing
think in a
the
more
inner
balanced
part
and
of our
healthy
lower
way.
rib while
Stay
breathing in
main
our belly.
focus
So I
can
would like
experience
to
less of that racing mind
expand your
and have the
tongue by
ability to
rubbing
think in a
in
more
your
balanced
lower
and
rib
healthy way.
cage here that is
Stay
breathing
main
in our belly.
focus
So
can
I would like
experience
not
less
just
of that
try to
racing mind
expand all
and have the
around
ability
by
to think
rubbing
in a more
in your
balanced
lower
and healthy way.
rib with your fingertips.
Stay main
You're going
focus
to go and
can
would like
experience
not
less
just
of
try
that
to
racing
expand
mind
all
and have the
around
ability to think
from
in a
the
more balanced
outside
and healthy way.
with your fingertips
Stay
gently
main
going
focus.
towards the center. You may experience some tender points, and that's absolutely okay. In that case, emphasize on that belly breathing out and in while you are spending a little bit more time through those tender points. You can do this by sitting like I am right now, or laying down on your back. Taking deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth, and rubbing gently towards the center. Usually you find that the closer you get to the center of the rib cage here, the more tender points we tend to find. Once we get to the center here, we're going to still keep on rubbing up onto the sternum towards the base of the neck. You can do little circles here with the fingertips, going side to side and or up and down. Again, if you find some sweet spots, Spend a little bit more time on it and emphasize on your belly breathing. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Once you get to the top of the sternum, the base of the neck, we're going to come back down, still rubbing. And some of you may find that you're already feeling that some stress is going down. Trying to get rid of any thoughts that you have in your brain and really focusing on yourself and what you're feeling on the inside. Once you get to the base of the sternum here, we're going to go back to the outside of the ribs. Again, trying to hook our fingers just under the base rib, going towards the outside. This is a really good way for the brain and the diaphragm to connect. And now we're going to try to see if we can work more through that breathing, the diaphragm going down and up. So for this, you can sit down or lay on your back in a comfortable way, wherever you are right now. And we're going to do 3 different types of breathing through the diaphragm. The first one is going to be taking 10 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. The second one, we will still do inhale through the nose, but we will do a forced exhale through the belly. So think of as if someone was punching you into the stomach and you're going to really exhale deeply, really feeling the contraction through your trunk and the diaphragm going up. The third one, we will go in and out, so inhaling and exhaling through the mouth, but we're going to do a forced inhale, which means that you're either going to close your lips or put your fingertips in front of your lips to restrict the air going in. This is going to force the diaphragm to really expand but work really hard in that contraction, in that expansion. Then we will nicely exhale through the mouth. And we'll repeat this first one, which is inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth at the end. So there will be 4 times 10 repetitions, and I will cue you through them. So again, sit comfortably or lay on your back. And we're going to start with 10 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's do this one together. You can close your eyes or keep them open, but again, trying to center yourself of feeling how your body is on the ground or on the chair. Let's go now. In through the nose, all into the belly, out through the mouth. Five more breaths. And the last 2. Our second set, we're going to breathe in through the nose and force the exhale through the mouth. So really think of contracting your trunk and pushing the air out as much and as strong as you can. Let's go start now. Inhale through the nose. Contract your belly. 5 to go. Last two. A third set, we're going to inhale and exhale both through the mouth, but we're going to restrict the air in going through the mouth. So either close your lips a little bit more or put your fingertips in front of your mouth to restrict the air going in. Two more repetitions. And our last set will be the same as the first one. Gently inhale through the nose and exhale nicely through the mouth. 10 repetitions on this one here. Let's go. Halfway through. Two more repetitions. And the last one. Excellent. So feel now that you've given a lot of energy and a lot of oxygen through your body, inside your brain, through your blood vessels. So now it's time to move this oxygen and this blood flow throughout the body. So I'm going to get you, if you were not already on your back, to lay on your back, nice comfortably. Feet are flat on the ground and knees are going to be bent. Our first drill here is going to be moving the knees from one side to the other. I call this one the windscreen wiper. So you're going to place your feet wider than hip width apart. If you are laying down on the yoga mat, you want to have your feet at the edges of the mat. In this position, you want to really feel relaxed on the floor, and you're going to move the knees from one side to the other side here. We're going to do 5 repetitions on each side here. I'm going to start on the right, and I'm trying to connect my right knee to the floor. My left knee is not going to be able to touch the floor yet. To the left. Left knee touches the floor. To the right. To the left. To the right. To the left. See if you can feel any difference between both sides. You might feel that one side is a little bit looser, a little bit freer than the other one. It's time for you to really reconnect with your body and start really feeling many possible imbalances that you may have. And we're going to do 2 more. And last one here to the left. Our next movement here that we're going to add up onto the windscreen wiper, we're going to do a leg swing to the side. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do my windscreen wiper to the left, and I'm going to swing my right leg all the way up as far as I can, trying to keep my big toe in contact with the floor. So we're going to avoid lifting the leg up as much as we can and trying to relax this entire leg, feeling the stretch from the right rib cage into the right hip, the right glutes, and into the right side of the leg here. I'm going to swing my leg back towards the center, bring my knees back up, and repeat it to the right. Windscreen wiper to the right, left leg is going to swing around to the side as far up as I can. While we swing the leg around, we want to try to keep the shoulders connected with the floor. So we don't want to move the rib cage up and away from the floor. You might have a little bit of shoulder that lift off the ground, and that's okay, but try to keep the connection as much as you can, arm and shoulder to the floor while the opposite leg is swinging around. The same thing here, we're going to go 10 on each side. I'm going to start to the left. Windscreen wiper to the left, right leg swings around trying to connect the foot with the floor and swinging as high as you can. Back to the center. Knees are up, windscreen wiper to the right. Connect with the floor, swing the left leg around as far up and out as you can. Back to our windscreen wiper, knees up, to the left, right leg swings. As you go through the movement, every time you're going to swing the leg, try to exhale. Inhale as you bring the knees back up to the center, and exhale through the tummy as you swing the leg around. You should feel that as you exhale and swing the leg, there is more and more space between your rib cage and your hip. You should feel nice and heavy and grounded on the floor. And if you're finding it hard to stretch the leg out, it's okay. You can keep your knee bent. You don't have to fully extend the leg to the side. Just listen to what your body is allowing you to do as you breathe, and gently move your hips side to side and swing the leg around. I'm going to do 1 more on each side here. And some of you may already find that you are going further with that leg swing. We're simply trying to take the tension away from the body and allowing movement of the limbs more freely. Our next movement here, we're going to do the windscreen wiper, but we're going to place our hand onto the shoulder. So cross your arms in front of your chest, right hand onto the left shoulder, left hand onto the right shoulder. I'm going to do my windscreen wiper to the left, and I'm going to tuck my left elbow under and move around until I'm getting my left shoulder up and flat on the ground. I'm going to go back to the center. Spine first, legs next. We're going to get the right legs going to the right side, rotating around to the right, chest down to the floor. Coming back to the center, spine is flat, knees are up. Windscreen wiper to the left, rotating onto the left here, and trying to come as much as possible into facing down towards the floor. You should feel a beautiful stretch and rotation into the spine as you rotate around. We're going to do 5 on each side here. Windscreen wiper to the right, and then rotate your entire spine and try to come with your chest flat on the floor onto the right side. Back to the center. Windscreen wiper to the left, rotate to your left, left shoulder into the chest. It's very important to tuck the elbow under as much as you can, otherwise it's going to be hard to rotate your spine. Back to the right side. Exhale as you move your spine and rotate around. Inhale as you come back to the center. Exhale as you move around. You should feel some nice freedom through your vertebrae of your spine, from the hips all the way to the base of your neck. We're trying to limit the amount of muscles working here and allowing just more freedom and letting gravity do a lot of the job. Going to do one more on each side. And final one here to the left. Our next movement here, we're going to go back with a windscreen wiper. We're going to do a spine rotation, but when we get to the end, we will push off from the ground to come into what we call a shin box position. So I'm going to do it on the left here, like windscreen wiper to the left. I'm going to do the same movement we just did right now, rotating onto the left here. Chest is flat down towards the floor. Now I'm going to use my hands, my forearm or my elbow to come up into a seated position. I'm going to try to line up front of my rib cage, my sternum, with the my inner thigh. Some of you may be restricted to the hips, so you can actually lean away, just go as far up as you can. But if you can come into the seated position here, that's fantastic. So you can see now here that the base of my foot is in contact with my thigh or my knee, and this is what we call a shin box position. I'm creating a little box here with my shin. I'm going to bring both hands on either side of the knee, and I'm going to keep a long and tall spine, sticking my tailbone out and my neck forward, and I'm going to gently bow and hinge from the hip. In this position, what we're targeting is trying to get the glutes to actually get a nice stretch. So we're going to open up through the hip here, but here my left knee is forward, which means my left glute is where I should get my stretch from. I'm going to come back up. Going to take a deep exhale as I'm hinging forward. To come back down to the floor, I'm going to place my left arm close to my left knee here, and I'm going to roll onto my left shoulder and rolling back around to my centered position, rolling onto my right and pushing off the ground so I can end up in the shin box in the opposite position, connecting the base of my foot with my right knee here, with my left knee, sorry. Both hands are either side of the knee, tall spine, tailbone is going to stick out and neck forward, and we're going to hinge as we bow forward and targeting stretch here through my right glute. Take a deep breath in and out as you bow forward. Coming up to the center. Inhale and exhale as you go down. It's very important to keep a straight spine. As soon as you will round your lower back here, you will lose the stretch through the glutes. So really think of elongating that spine as much as you can. Rolling back down to the center, we're going to place the right elbow close to the right thigh. Rolling back to the center here. Knees up. We're going to do one more on each side. Rolling onto the left shoulder, onto the chest, and pushing off the ground to come up into a seated position. Take a deep breath in. Exhale as you lean forward. Tall spine, neck is going as far as we can, tailbone is going in the opposite direction. Sitting up again, left elbow close to the left thigh, rolling into the shoulder. We're going to do one more on the other side. Rolling the knees, windscreen wiper, rolling onto the right shoulder, coming up here. Exhale as you go down. Rolling back to the center. And here. Just to finish our little routine here, I'm going to get you to lay nicely on your back, and we're going to do 10 deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. Really going back and trying to feel what's happening between our feet, through our legs, hips, into our midsection, our rib cage, shoulders, all the way down to the fingertips. So let's go for 10 deep breaths here. In through the nose and out through the mouth, all in the belly breathing. Feel your body connecting with the ground, feeling nice and heavy. Five to go. Feel your skin connecting with the floor. And the last 2 reps. And 1 more. Thank you for joining me in this mindfulness and meditation session. I hope you learned some nice, good ways to bring your stress down by integrating belly breathing and some flow-based movement. See you soon.
Thank you so much, G. What an incredible session. I'm sure that's a bit out of the box for everybody, and I hope you really enjoyed connecting your body with your mind, with your breath today, and the huge benefits that come from that. So thank you so much for dialing in this afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Really appreciate you being here, for allowing us to be part of your journey, and for really understanding about the tools, the awarenesses, the techniques that you can have to improve your mindfulness today and improve your mental health over this 10 days together. So thank you so much. We're going to be leaving you to have a beautiful rest of your evening. And again, a final reminder, please just take some moments of mindfulness today, just to drop into the present. Don't worry about the past or the future, just connect in with what is right now. Be aware of yourself and observe yourself, and take some great steps towards making beautiful choices for your mental health. Thank you so much, and look forward to seeing you again soon.